January 2nd is just around the corner, and that's when Tatsuya Imai has to be either signed or goes back to Japan. That's when the posting ends, the 45-day window. Cubs clearly in the mix, depending on what the price tag looks like for Imai. One of their chief competitors, according to reports, may not even be a competitor at all, and I wonder if that helps the Cubs in this market. We're going to talk about some of the big questions that the Cubs scouting department has to answer when they try to figure out how Imai will translate from Japan to the United States in Major League Baseball. DraftKings and a bunch of the other betting services have posted the World Series odds, obviously really early. Where do the Cubs stack up right now? We're going to get into all that right here on the Cubs Baseball channel. Like, subscribe, thumbs up, hit the bell, and let's get this party started. Go Cubs. Oh, and Merry Christmas, everybody. Hey, everybody, Mick Gillespie, Cubs Baseball channel. 40-year Cub fan, maybe even more. I hate saying that. Makes me sound old, but it also makes me wise because I've been around a long time. And also been with the organization for 20 years. But appreciate you guys being part of this channel. Like and subscribe. Share with your Cubs friends. We're trying to get to 10,000 subscribers. And I wish that was a Christmas miracle. Like I just woke up and today we were there. But we're doing it organically. Thank you for being a part of it. All right. A lot of what we're hearing right now is the Cubs' pursuit of Tatsuya Imai. And this is the 27-year-old Japanese phenom, right? The guy that the Cubs are kind of hoping is a difference maker if they sign him in this rotation. And we've kind of debated whether Imai would be a 1 or a 2, or would he be more 3, 4, and 5 in the starting rotation. And with Justin Steele, Cade Horton, to me, if those two stay healthy, being at the top of the rotation, you love what Matthew Boyd did last year. Jameson Taillon, I thought he had a really good end of the season. Shota Imanaga didn't finish the way we wanted him to, but he's a former All-Star. And that gives you a lot of answers right there. Where would Imai fit? Well, the first bit of information, and then I want to answer some questions about Imai, or at least ask those, pose those to you, is that the Yankees might not be in the mix. And we've kind of talked about this a few different times, but, there's been some reports that the Yankees were the favorite to get Imai. And then all of a sudden, you're kind of hearing from some of the experts that are saying, no, the Yankees, it's not there. Even on the Yes Network now, they're reporting that there's no links between the Yankees and Imai. That's coming from Jack Curry, who is part of the Yankees' excellent TV network, the Yes Network. The vibe I'm getting is that connection does not exist with Imai. Yankees have been very quiet. I don't think the Yankees have been as aggressive, and I'm basically talking about in the pursuit of Imai. What does that mean, right? Well, part of it is that the Yankees are going to try to re-sign Cody Bellinger. Are they in the mix for Kyle Tucker? I don't know. And those are questions that they need that spot. And Bellinger and Tucker are going to cost you some money, right? But you got to have pitching to win. It comes down to that. We saw the Dodgers, what they did last year. And you go back and you look at champions, they have pitching. And we compare it to the 2016 Cubs, where you had a lot of pitching. You had great starters. You had a Cy Young Award winner in Jake Arrieta. You had one of the biggest bulldogs in baseball in John Lackey. You had John Lester there, who, was kind of your ace. And then you go through and you're like, man, Jason Hamill was really good that year. Woody was really good that year. So, you look through it, you're like, hey, Travis Wood, not a bad 5. Kyle Hendricks was in there too, right? And whether you kind of platooned a guy in that rotation, what we saw Hendricks do as your last guy. Love that team, I think, like all you guys. But the reason they won was that they had great pitching, defense, and they could hit, right? You got to have all those elements covered. So for the Cubs to get there, They're going to need great pitching. Now, the questions that I think people are asking about Imai and how it's going to translate into Major League Baseball, I think the first thing is, will he be able to throw strikes? Last year he had a 2.5 walk per 9 inning rate, right? So like a 7% walk rate, which is really low. It was up around 4.5 throughout his career. I mean, it kind of got better every year. And then, last year was his best year. He's also getting into the prime of his baseball career at, 27 years old. So you go from, 7% to what it was before. It was 10%. 10% starts to get up there. You want the guy to be able to throw strikes. I think that's a valid question. And to me, you also kind of compare what happened with some of the other Japanese pitchers, and I think that helps him a lot because those guys have been so good. And then the other part of it is you look at his size. Is it going to matter that he's 5'11", right? And the baseball's different. I've heard, I've talked to pitchers from Japan that have told me, that the ball's just different. I think the ball in the major leagues is slightly heavier. I don't know. Maybe it's a little bit bigger. It's just different, right? How does that affect these guys pitching, right? And then you got to get used to that. You got to make, and it's the same thing in the minor leagues. Minor league has a different baseball than the major leagues. You guys know that the material's different, so it moves differently. The minor league balls are just cheaper to make, right? And the major league balls are just better, but the way that you're able to manipulate them for pitches is different, right? So I think that's the first question. Like, is he going to continue to control the ball like he did? The second thing is, he's got that gyro pitch, kind of that weird moving slider that almost kind of slides the opposite direction, like maybe like a little bit of a screwball type action or a cutter type, splitter type thing. You wonder if that's going to come with him. And I think it will, right? I think it will. Like the staying healthy and coming over and being able to, throw the Major League Baseball the way that you throw the one in Japan. And then, obviously the way that your pitches move, to me, are questions that the Cubs have to ask. And then the big thing is, where do you put this guy in the rotation? Is he a 3? Is he a 4? Or is he a 5? And what the Cubs are trying to do right now is, I think they really like him. And I think that there's a great chance that they're going to sign him before January the 2nd. But I think they're trying to figure out, and this is other teams as well, how the market is going to interpret him. And remember, when it came down to Shota Imanaga, we thought that the Giants were going to sign him. It was like the Cubs and the Giants and the Angels and maybe the Red Sox. And he decided he loved Chicago. He went and hung out in Chicago. He wanted to go there, worked out a contract. He's an all-star. And I think that definitely is an indicator too, that you got to let the market play out, right? But January 2nd is almost here. So we're going to know something really soon. So I thought we'd start the show with that. But the Yankees not being in the mix, hearing more of this, the second time we've had a report where the Yankees aren't in the mix, they're either bird dogging everybody or they're not in the mix, right? So we'll find out. Now, the second thing, and I want to tell you guys about our QR code right there, Mick Nation, AveD. We did the college football playoff. We had the Alabama-Oklahoma game. We gave away like $1,500. We're going to obviously do more of that. These hats right now, you get in there. It's all free. Pick games. Our store's eventually going to be in there. It's just our Web3 home. And we appreciate you guys for being a part of that as well. Scanning and going and hanging out. I know you guys get addicted to winning. So you go over there and you do that, right? And when the baseball season starts, obviously we do baseball. Now, when the baseball season starts, where are the Cubs as far as the odds to win the World Series? Where are they? And I got the answer for you. DraftKings has the Cubs listed at plus 2,200, and FanDuel has the Cubs listed at plus 2,500. Really interesting, right? So where does that match with these sports books and the Cubs, right? Well, it's not in the top 10. As a matter of fact, DraftKings and that plus 2,200 is going to be like the 12th best odds to win the World Series. So there's 32 teams, being 12th. I guess that kind of, puts you near the top. Then you got FanDuel at plus 2,500 at their sports book. That's the 11th best odds to win the World Series. Now, what would you remember when the Cubs won the World Series? I think they had the best odds, right? Maybe not at the beginning of the year. They were pretty close though. They had so much momentum, after 2015, and then you just had that vibe, like, man, these guys legitimately can win it all. Being out of the top 10, does concern you, but doesn't mean that those odds aren't going to get better. I mean, here we are. It isn't even January yet. It isn't even 2026. So you go out and you make some moves. Do they end up shocking the world and bringing Tucker back? Or do they, get top-end pitching? Do they add to the bullpen? Things that they're really trying to do. And how would those odds translate to that, right? I mean, the minute they got Tucker last year in that trade, they had much better odds. Now, I wonder if the Cubs have that same sense of urgency that they had last year, because it felt like if they didn't win, they were going to get fired, right? Like that vibe, not really the same one as it was a year ago, right? Like I think that they earned another couple years, but in this business, things can change fast, right? And I look at the situation with the Tigers. Would they really be willing to trade Skubal? I don't know. But would the Cubs pull off another major deal like they did last year for a rental? It paid off in the aspect that, they made the playoffs, and I don't even know if it was really ever in question. So I'm, kind of curious to see how that all runs. But anyway, look, guys, thank you as always for being here. Really appreciate your participation. Be part of the channel. Have an amazing Christmas day. And I'm going to try throughout the holidays to keep the show going. I mean, like I know I missed the 24th, but here we are on the 25th. So think about that. And then the 26th, and then the 27th. They've got to get right up to the January 2nd and see what happens with the, this situation with Imai and will we sign him? I hope we do. Anyway, like, subscribe, thumbs up, hit the bell. Have a great day. And from the bottom of my heart, go Cubs.